Hi, you're watching Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media, all of our platforms. I am Mike Morales here in our mobile command center in St. Petersburg, Florida, and that young man out there is
Rick Levy in San Diego.
And Rick and I have been exploring. We've been doing this for like a year now together, but we've been exploring mezcals. And tonight we are exploring Pluma Negra, or as Rick likes to call it, Plumita
Negra.
Let me explain first of all why the sizes of the samples. We normally don't take sizes anything lower than the 250. Most often we would definitely need a 750. But number one, it's mezcal. Number two, this is such a new brand. We discovered the brand when we were interviewing Humberto Ibarra of Glass Bottom Distributors late last fall when we were on our Wild Wild West tour. And he's the gentleman who's importing Mandala and La Tarea that you and I had last week, that you'll probably have already seen at this point when this airs. Anyway, he's constantly being sent samples. And he said, do you want to try this for Sipping Off the Cuff? We said, sure, and since you and I have been the ones exploring the different plants and varietals and even the different ABVs, I figured we get a kick out of something that no one's ever seen yet. It's so new that I don't even know if he's carrying it yet. I don't know if it's available in Southern California. This is the Tobala, and Tobala seems to be a big favorite. Look at the bubbles on this. Oh my goodness! Look at that.
Yeah, this is a higher proof, so you should definitely see those bubbles. I've got 52%.
Yes.
ABV.
Yes. Yep. 52 ABV. So twice that is wow. That's high, man.
104.
But the perlas on these are beautiful. They're really just nice. And let me read you the.
Can't see it on mine, but I have
stop shaking your plumita.
some nice tiny bubbles that are just rising extremely slowly through the mezcal.
Through the bottle. Now wow. There's like this array of particles.
Yeah.
And not in a bad way. It's not like there's something was wrong in the filtration. It's just
tiny silvery bubbles, slowly rising.
Now, just to give you all the information on the label, it is a 52 alcohol by volume. This is Maguey Tobala. It is not a medley, so they're not blending other plants with this. It is a bebida originaria de San Juan del Rio, Oaxaca. So this is where it's being made, San Juan del Rio. Let's see, and it's produced and bottled at Mezcal Tierra de Cuervos, which is land of the crows or region of the crows, which explains the black feather. I guess there's a lot of crows that exist in that area, or in where the palenque is, the distillery. And that's really all the information we have. Humberto Glass Bottom had no POS, we don't even have pricing on this. And like we said, I'm not even sure that it's available in the U.S. yet, but it is certainly they're certainly considering coming to the United States. So
bring it on.
I'm gonna pour it, man. We're using I'm using my jarrito, my handy dandy Chisholm Trail jarrito, and Rick is using the much taller jarrito.
Oh, look at that string of pearls just hanging there.
Oh man. And yes, there are bubbles that have been that just lingering bubbles. As we've said this in the past, Rick, and just because you have bubbles isn't a sign of quality, but it's a really good indicator.
Yeah. Well,
I
the
look
bubbles
for
were originally used as a signifier to figure out whether or not the spirit had been watered down, right?
Yeah, there is a process that an experienced mezcalero can use to measure the alcohol by volume, and without using an instrument. And of course, that takes years of practice. And I actually have I haven't had a chance to write this up yet, but I've actually seen it demonstrated and how it works, how they do it, and they're within several degrees of accuracy. I mean, they're just without an instrument, so they know how to do it
Trying
by
to
the
see
bubbles.
the tears are really just hanging there, slow to form and then extremely slow
Oh,
coming down.
yeah, and again, there's no, it's just all natural. There's nothing artificial in it. So that the tears, the string of pearls, just clings. It is thick but not syrupy. It's just thick with the plant. I mean, this is the finished product. So
Well, and it's a higher proof too, so there is
yes.
going to be, less water.
Oh my goodness!
Mm.
Wow. Now,
Now,
now
we were saying the Espadine, was coming through quite fruity. I'm also getting a lot of fruit on this.
yeah, I am too, but it's much more enhanced. It's much more powerful in your face.
Hmm.
And
Getting
you know what?
maybe a touch of minerality and maybe like some, I think there's a spice I'm trying to identify. There's probably a little bit of anise in there, but am I getting like some, maybe some fennel or something like that?
Could be. Um, I'm not sure about spices as much as maybe herbal. Is it more herbal than spicy?
Well, yeah, fennel is an herb.
Okay. Well, what I'm not getting that I did get in the Espadina is for some reason, I'm getting less alcohol coming at me than I did with the Espadina, which was at 40 ABV. So, wow, this is much more pronounced though. It is much more aggressive. Obviously, a higher ABV. Um, it it being a Tobala, and of course it's a whole different plant as well. It's gonna smell. It's probably the next step up from an Espadin as far as aromas.
Yeah, maybe not as sweet. It probably the aroma's not as sweet as the Espadine.
No, I'm getting more baked. I'm getting more of a baked, or well, in this case, you can't even say baked because if excuse me, if it is, we don't even know the process. I'm assuming this is artisanal because that's what the label says. So it could be pit roasted, and so
I'm not getting any smoke though.
yeah, not as much as I did with the Espadin. I got smoke. This one I'm getting almost all plant
Hmm.
and no alcohol, which is really weird. It's amazing what these guys can do
Yeah,
with the different plants in the hand of the maker.
it would have to be some pretty special kind of roasting pit to not get any smoke.
Again, not sure, not a whole
We don't
lot
know
of
the
information.
process.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, if somebody out there knows more than we do, please tell us because I'm enjoying this. I want to know
It
more.
smells great. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to dive in now. Mm,
Oh. Mm.
mm, mm, mm.
Oh, you're absolutely right about the baked. Mmm.
Oh,
Buttery, buttery.
oh. I got some mint
Ooh.
in there. There was like a real strong mint and lip numbness. I mean, white pepper right on the palate. In fact, the white pepper almost hits you immediately, like right at the entry.
Oh boy, it's the higher ABV on this. It's
Yeah.
much more intense. Like you were describing the aroma, it's intense in the flavor too. There's a lot going on, and it's not harsh. It's not harsh. It's just a
No.
big experience.
Yeah, well, and that's a tribute, I think, to the plant itself. It really has that
Mhm.
characteristic where, you know, it's aggressive on the aroma and it's even aggressive on the intake.
Well, and
But
however they're roasting it too. I
yeah,
really want to know what the roasting process is on this
I
now too,
I'd like to know
because you
what the
really get that baked flavor.
well, I want to know what the distillation process is. What are they using? Because we've had, in the past last year we had distillation done in clay pots. We've had
Yeah,
distillation in copper. We've had,
stainless.
stainless. Yeah, so we're not sure. We're just shooting in the dark right now.
Mm,
But I got to tell you, this really is a beautiful.
yeah, it's a longer finish, a little drier.
Yeah, it's not as I will say it's not as sweet as the Espadin was, and that's
Hmm.
probably some of the sweetest Espadin, natural Espadin that you and I have had in
Yeah,
in, in a while. Um, but this one is wow. This one is just it grabs you by the collar and says, "Here, smell me,
yeah, it's more
taste me."
complex.
Yes. Wow, you could spend a lot of time with this, and it's
Mm,
really funny because it's almost like it makes me want to just pour it in a jicara or a
yeah,
clay pita because it's really
or a
it is
tennis shoe.
yeah, right, yeah, or your shoe, right. It's just it feels rustic. um
Hmm.
Probably not as rustic as some of the other ones that we've had, but really really close. It is definitely artisanal. You know there's nothing
Yeah,
fake about this. I just wish I knew more. I,
yeah.
I wish I knew what is the fermentation
And
process.
just very
Just
light on the smoke too. If there's any tequila people out there who've been put off from mezcal because of the smoke, this is another one. Check it out. It's like
yeah,
it'll be right up there with your favorite still strength tequilas. It's an incredible experience.
absolutely. I agree with you. I think if you enjoy still strength tequilas at 100 proof, high 90s, 110, you're gonna like this one a lot because it's you're right. It's very reminiscent of a high ABV tequila, still strength
Hmm.
tequila. Very very much so, and it's just gorgeous. The way the legs and tears
Well,
cling to
yeah,
this.
I've got constellations of pearls hanging there.
That's so romantic. You're waxing poetic again, Rick. I don't.
Uh,
When
diamonds in my glass.
diamonds in my glass. I've noticed that when you and I discuss tequilas, we really break it down. But when it's mezcal, especially a well-made one, you are just you're just thrown into this other realm. And it's fun to see. It really is fun to see because you absolutely are correct. You pull some stuff out that I
Uh,
hadn't thought of before. But you're right. Your comparison to still strength tequila, right there. And you're right. There's not a whole lot of smoke on this one.
yeah, and just arguably more flavor.
Yeah.
Mm,
Mm.
mm.
Mm. Mm.
Oh, I'm getting those warm tingles down the
Yeah.
back on the finish, and it's
Wow.
like I'm getting this great pepper effect around the
The sides of
back
the
of the
palate.
palate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really pepper
Oh,
oriented. But it's just
and the flavor
wow.
stays with you through the finish too. That warm,
The warm
baked
fuzzy.
agave. Yeah, it's like that. That is, what's coming down the center palate, and then on the edge, I have like that bright tingle from the pepper.
It's really bright. I'll have to say, as heavy as it looks, it's actually not as heavy on the palate. It's much brighter.
Yeah.
You know, all the flavors come out at you in Technicolor. It's like drinking an HD.
Well, that's how we describe mezcal as compared to tequila because it's
Exactly.
everything jumps right out.
Yeah, it's really it's no filter.
Well,
It's Instagram with no filter. So, you know,
previously we had identified Tobala as, maybe the fruit qualities being more like towards melon, like maybe some honeydew or something like that. How would you describe the fruit aspect on this?
the thing was with this, you were correct when you said there was a little bit of minerality, but I got on that first intake, I got mint. I got this mint, this overwhelming mint in my, and I don't know if you want to call it peppermint, maybe that's what it is, but it was this overwhelming mint, and then the pepper explosion in the palate.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was on the nose, it's more of a baked, not roasted agave, and then on the intake, you're right, it's a little bit drier, but it lingers, and I got more. It was more herbaceous for me,
Mm-hmm.
not overly, not herbaceous as in like rosemary, but more in the sweeter herbs, like I said, like peppermint or spearmint, something really medicinal, you know,
Yeah.
something really good for the stomach. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm not identifying a lot of fruit besides, what we would identify as an agave flavor,
Right.
a baked agave flavor.
Well, the comparing to the espadin, it was much fruitier, not
Hmm.
only on the nose, and when we say fruitier, I would say the same comparison with tequila. When we get tequilas from the highlands, that they tend to be fruitier or
Exactly.
more
Yeah.
floral. And maybe what we're getting is maybe more floral. I don't think so. I think what I've been tasting is more herbaceous and a bit more minerality, but it's not the Amatitana minerality that lingers and
Right.
stays, and not that rock taste.
No,
And
it's
not that
just an
there's anything,
accent.
because I love that taste, but this is really brighter.
Yeah.
You know, I love it. I love it. This is, and compared to some of the other Tovalas that we've had, I I I guess we'll have to do a side by side one of
Yeah,
these
I would
days.
have to say, for Tobala, my experience with Tobala, this is really making a statement with the Tobala.
Yes. Yeah, because in the past the Tobalas we have had have been at 40 ABV. They've been toned down to the average 80 proof. This one is more traditional, and I've had them more traditional at a higher proof, but I've not had one. I've not had a Tobala sing to me like this one.
Hmm.
So, I again I have to attribute that to the maker, and we don't know who he is. We don't know anything about his process. I would love to know more. I want to know more about the pricing as well. Um, I think I'll tell you what. I think the one that comes really close, and I don't know if you've ever had any, but I compare this to the Oaxaca line of mezcals. They have a full line of mezcals with different plants, and the Oaxaca brand is, to me, is always, like I said, you have um, Del Maguey, and then you have the Oaxaca line, and somewhere in between is Scorpion. But Scorpion's like in a whole other league because they've done everything traditionally at 80 proof. So that's like a whole other animal. And gosh, I love this. This is really something. Really, I hope
Yeah.
they bring it into. I think Southern California and parts around the Southwest would really appreciate a brand like this. Um,
Yeah.
they're something.
I would, you bring this in, I would have to buy it.
There you
I really
go.
would. And, I don't even know that I would worry too much about the price.
Yeah, well, if you get a full 750 and you have a mezcal of this kind of quality at that higher ABV, it's not going to take a whole lot to be satisfied.
Yeah.
You'll actually you drink better, you'll drink less, and chances are you'll probably hoard the bottle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
really. There are some tequilas that you treat that way. You drink them sparingly because they will never get one that'll taste just like this again. So But anyway, that I think Brand of Promise. I think in the high
Absolutely.
category at Tobala for Pluma Negra. If you can find it, go get it. Do yourself a
And then
favor.
tell us where you got
Yeah, please. Yeah, because Rick is dying to buy a case.
it. Uh,
That's our take on Pluma Negra. I am Mike Morales. You've been watching Sipping Off the Cuff here on all of our platforms, on Tequila Aficionado and YouTube, and wherever you're watching us. Just don't forget to subscribe, hit that red button. But whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely. Hi, everybody. Rick Levy here with your special after credits scene. I found out some more information about the production processes on Pluma Negra after we signed off, and so I wanted to hop back on and share it with you. We found out that the distiller is Rodolfo Hernandez Aguilar, and they crushed their agaves using a stone tahona pulled by a mule, so we're big fans of that. They bake their agaves using firewood in an uncovered conical ground furnace that I believe is lined with river stones. Having the pit uncovered, as opposed to how it's traditionally done, where they will, they'll throw agave fibers and dirt and they'll seal the pit, which seals in the smoke from the roasting process. So by having the pits uncovered would account for very little smokiness to the mezcal. They ferment in pine vats. They distill in copper pots. The Tobala for a 750 milliliter bottle in Mexico goes for 1,296 pesos. That's about $69 in the US. And as we like to say at Tequila Aficionado, tomar sabiamente, sip wisely.
I'm Mike Morales. I'm CEO of Tequila Aficionado Media, and I just wanted to thank you for watching Sipping Off the Cuff. We love doing these reviews for you. Now, if you're an Agave Spirits brand owner and you're watching this, there are 3 things that I'd like to talk to you about. Number 1, if you'd like us to review your Agave Spirit on Sipping Off the Cuff, just send me an email, mike@tequilaaficionado.com. It won't cost you a dime, and I promise you'll get an honest review. Number 2, if your brand has been nominated, past or present, as a brand of promise, we can help you promote your brand effectively and affordably over on the tequila PR side of things. Just email me, mike@tequilapr.com. And number 3, if your brand has ever been a Brand of Promise nominee or a winner, you automatically qualify with us, or to go with us, on our next promotional tequila tour. So shoot me an email, tours@tequilaaficionado.com, and I'll send you all the details on our upcoming tequila tour. That's it. Thanks again for watching. Sip wisely.